NFL Week 1 is here.
Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Doing Football. Today, running back rankings for Week 1. We'll be doing this kind of video each and every week this season. We're going to be giving you the top 24 running backs this week in fantasy football. I can't believe I just said this week in fantasy football, Jared. Just had my weekend where I watched a whole bunch of college football, so I'm ready for the NFL. I'm ready for football season. It is here. And Avery, not available. This is a Sharps only show, so
Sharps only.
Only the smartest minds here at OwnersBox get to talk about running back rankings in Week 1. What we're going to do is we're going to go through all these 24 guys. We're going to go 6 by 6. You'll see them on the screen for you. I know a lot of you have been requesting some more on-screen stuff while we're chatting. It's here for you. So let's start at the top with the obvious number one.
Yeah, it's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, 3 games last season, and all those games, 20-plus points. The Buccaneers, I think he played in Week 2, had 26 fantasy points. Look, we're going to be doing these videos. He's probably going to be at the top each and every week as long as he's on the field. This guy is the cheat code for your lineups if you've got him in your season-long leagues.
He's matchup proof too. He's going to dominate anybody.
Exactly. Let's just move forward for McCaffrey. Dalvin Cook in at number 2. I will say we're going to run through these fairly quickly. Not a lot of numbers, not a lot of stats.
Yeah.
I mean, right now at this point, it's the beginning of the season. If we're giving you numbers and stats, we're going off some stuff from last year. And again, there's some stuff we need to see this season because there can be plenty of turnover in terms of defensive performances from a lot of these teams.
I'm surprised you've got Derrick Henry over Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry, the Cardinals are last season were one of the bottom 6 teams against the run last season. They did add Zaven Collins, was their first round pick this year, stud linebacker from Tulsa. But I do still think it'll be a lot of the same story. And the thing that comes to mind with me is the Cardinals struggled offensively last year late in the season. So this game could be tight, and that'll lead to more running to the football. So I like Derrick Henry in Week 1. I have him at number 3. Number 4, Alvin Kamara. Excited to see how involved Alvin Kamara is going to be this season.
I think that's going to be a shootout, that game.
We could see
Saints-Packers.
I just wonder how efficient this offense is going to be for the Saints with Jameis Winston and with.
Usually I'd be worried, but Sean Payton always seems to get it done, no matter who he has in there. Like last year at Taysom Hill, they had an incredible offense still. So
yeah, those were low
Michael
scoring
Thomas wasn't
games,
there
though.
either. No, it was actually high scoring. They had like high 20 points most of the time.
I'm mostly thinking about that Eagles game, I think, is probably what I'm thinking about the most. But yeah, Alvin Kamara, I think I want to see how involved he is passing wise. And then what is Jair Alexander doing in this game? How is he playing in coverage? What is he doing? Because we know that Kamara doesn't just run his routes from the backfield. He's out in the slot.
Yeah, I don't know if Jair is going to cover Kamara. That would be insane if he on though. Can you imagine?
It would be interesting.
He just follows him around the field.
Yeah, definitely not following him around the field, but I feel like he'll be in coverage against him on some of these routes during the game. So that game should be fun. At the 5 spot, Aaron Jones. I'm excited for Aaron Jones this season. I know we're higher on him than a lot of people, and the Saints had some cap issues this offseason and had to let a lot of guys go. Sheldon Rankins up front. They also lost another one of their defensive ends. I'm losing it off the top of my mind. They still have Demario Davis. Quan Alexander is also there, I believe, in the linebacker core, but there's a lot of turnover. I'm a little worried about how good the Saints defense will be this season compared to last. And Aaron Jones will probably find the
I think we're going to see more touchdowns of Aaron Jones this year too.
Yeah.
Like last year it was more Devontae Adams, but I think it's going to go back to more even.
Yeah, I like that. And then Nick Chubb in this 6th spot against the Chiefs. I mean, a great matchup here against the Chiefs. This is
high scoring.
Yeah, this will be a high scoring
see multiple
game.
touchdowns, honestly.
And the Chiefs rushing defense last season was another low ranked. I think they were bottom 10 in the NFL. So Chubb should see a lot of carries, a lot of work against the Chiefs. Now moving to number 7, Ezekiel Elliott. The Dallas Cowboys, tough matchup to start the season. We all know how much or how little turnover there is on this Bucs defense and Bucs team. Yeah. Everybody's back.
Back.
This will be a tough matchup. I do expect to see Ezekiel Elliott very involved in the passing game, so that should help keep him inside of the top 10 for this week. But
still not a nice matchup, though. It's definitely one I would avoid if it wasn't as high of a tier of running back.
Yeah. Being what Zeke is and where you draft him, he's going to be playing. So I do still think he'll still give you what you need from the position. Jonathan Taylor's who I have at number 8 against the Seahawks. I do see Jonathan Taylor getting a really heavy workload here. Carson Wentz, let's not forget the injury that he is likely coming back from. It looks like he'll be ready for week 1. But
I think Quentin Nelson too. I think he'll be back.
Yeah, I think they'll both be back. But at the same time, I don't know how much work they want to give Carson Wentz when he came back as early as possible from this injury. So I think Taylor will have a heavy workload.
For sure.
Now I think we're getting into a tier of guys here that are you can go a lot of different ways with, and I think I'm very, very excited about Antonio Gibson this season and in week 1. The Chargers are not a good rushing defense, haven't been for a number of years now. So even with the new 3-4 defense from Brandon Staley, there's a big change there. I don't know how much this team will improve against the run. So Antonio Gibson could have a big game against the Chargers.
Monster week I could see coming.
Yeah. James Robinson from the Jags.
Oh, easiest matchup. Texans were one of the worst run defenses last year.
Yeah, and the only reason I didn't have him higher is because I'm just, what does Meyer want to do with Carlos Hyde? Does he want to just force?
What if that's a split?
Exactly. So, but I still think even that here, James Robinson, I've got him as the top 10.
He's a must start.
Yeah.
You have to start him no matter what.
Absolutely. Let's go to X. Let's go to Eckler.
I mean, Eckler's got a kind of a tough matchup against the football team. Otherwise, I think he would probably be, 7, maybe 8.
Yeah, I would have had him more up if it wasn't for the matchup. Matchup's a little bit tough.
Football team has top 3 at least, front 7 in the league.
They also spent first round pick on Jamin Davis out of Kentucky, linebacker. So they're well invested in this defense.
They already had so many first round picks on that D line. They're like, let's add another one at linebacker.
Yeah. Joe Mixon. I know you're not a big Joe Mixon guy, but the Vikings were not a very good defense last season. It's Kendricks there up the middle. That's definitely their top tackler. But Danielle Hunter is back. Who was it that I just saw some news on somebody from the Vikings? I can't believe I'm saying.
Oh, it was Everson Griffin.
Yeah, Everson Griffin being cut.
Yeah, but they brought him back.
Oh, they did bring him?
Yeah, it was weird. He was cut, and then literally the same day, they were like, he's actually back.
Oh, okay, interesting. After that, he got a contract too in the offseason, didn't he? Okay, my bad. But obviously hasn't been playing that well if there was a cut to lose some money.
He definitely has passed his best moments.
So I want to see what comes from this Vikings defense. I think they're going to be improved, but I still think this is a good matchup for Mixon, and there is going to be volume for him. I'm not
as high on Mixon. I would... See, these, I don't think we mentioned it, but these rankings were made by Tmack, and then I'm going to make the wide receiver ones.
Yeah.
So personally, I would have Mixon below some of these next few guys like Gus Edwards, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Najee Harris, just because I'm not a big fan of him. I don't think he's a very good running back.
Yeah, production-wise.
Yeah, he's going to get touches, but I don't see the efficiency being there.
Yeah, we'll go through these. We'll go through these for the first few weeks, and whoever's a little better after the first, let's say, 3 or 4 weeks might be the guy the rest of the season. I think that's how we should do it.
You're really going to sacrifice your rankings duty, huh?
No, I mean, you think you're just going to be better at both?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, we won't get to find out. Well, if we go back and forth each week, and then I guess we find out. And if you're better than me at both, or I'm better than you at both, then this might turn into a solo show. Before we get to number 13, be sure to check out our friends at Manscaped. The Lawnmower 4.0 for Manscaped is here. Look, some of you're probably back at college, back at school, or maybe got a big weekend. You might be heading out to the bar this weekend to watch some football, and you might run into a nice lady there, and make sure things are taken care of. Nobody wants to see anything, messy, dirty, whatever come from a big old bush. So take care of that. If you use promo code BOX, you're going to get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with Manscaped. So definitely go check them out there at manscaped.com. Number 13, Gus Edwards. This is a fantastic matchup,
Big
Jared.
upgrade for him.
This is a great matchup.
Yeah. I mean, Raiders, one of the worst run defenses in the league last year. And now that J.K. Dobbins is down, it could just be Gus Edwards. There's talk of, Tyson Williams, I think was his name, maybe getting involved. Justice Hill might get some passing down work, but how valuable even is that?
Never been valuable for the Baltimore
Obviously,
Ravens.
Lamar's going to run it quite a bit, but out of the running back position, Gus Edwards will get the majority of touches.
Yeah, this will be a big week for figuring out what to do with the Ravens, especially with Gus Edwards. I think
I'd definitely start him. You probably got him in your drafts very late, unless you just drafted recently. So there's a chance you might already have all your running back positions filled out. But I think I would take him over every guy below him on this list, except maybe Clyde.
Yeah, he's must start. He really is.
Yeah.
He's must start. Okay. Number 14, Clyde Edwards-Helaire against the Cleveland Browns. Look, I'm excited for Clyde Edwards-Helaire this season. I'm hoping he's more involved in the passing work. They've been saying they want to have him more involved in the passing work. So this could be a big season for him. He is dealing with injury. He's going to be ready for week 1, though. I don't think there's
any issue with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it. But again, to me, it's like this needs to work. He needs to be productive. Or else we're going to see involvement of Darrell Williams. It's going to happen. And Jerick McKinnon maybe takes some passing work if he's not getting things done.
We saw in the preseason they want to use him. He was playing on all the first team snaps, and I think that's going to continue in week 1.
Yeah, and this Chiefs team is fantastic. So there's going to be positive game scripts for him to run the ball. To me, it's about in these positive game scripts. If they're up, are they going to let Clyde take care of the football game, or are they going to go to a committee in those situations? But again, I think this is still a good enough matchup to play Clyde this season. And the Browns linebackers are very inexperienced. So
they lost. I guess it was a couple years ago. They lost Joe Schobert, but ever since then, it hasn't been that great.
They had an injury. LSU kid, I can't remember his name. Anyways, he didn't play all of last year. Najee Harris now at the 15 spot. Look, we've talked about Najee Harris. The volume's going to be there. Going up against the Bills, this isn't the greatest. This isn't a really good run defense, so there is a chance that Najee Harris has a big game. But at the same time, the Bills are a great team. They're going to throw the ball a lot. They could be up in this game, and the Steelers could be playing catch up. So I'm thinking Najee Harris is still a good play this week, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
And is every week.
I mean, I pretty much there's almost no chance I'm not starting him this week.
Yeah,
you have to.
100%. Chris Carson at number 16.
I mean, it's the Colts. The Colts have a pretty decent run defense, but I mean, is Rashad Penny even ready? I never know if Rashad Penny's healthy.
Yeah, I think he's going to be ready. I haven't even looked. I haven't really considered. People have kind of talked about, hey, this is a good handcuff for Rashad Penny, but those knee injuries he's dealt with the last number of years can't stay on the field. I really haven't paid much attention to him, to be honest with you.
Carson likely has a workhorse role here.
Yeah, I think Carson's going to be high volume this season. So Carson's a good spot there in the 16.
No, this is interesting.
Now I've got my interesting guy. We've got someone I'm bumping up. I always think about these rankings and go, I want to talk about players that I think have really high upside to have like a top finish. But at the same time, we're giving you these rankings. We want to give you the most likely outcomes as opposed to guys that have the chance to go big. Yeah. But I do have Raheem Mostert in at 17. Look, this is a fantastic matchup. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starter in week 1 with Lance's injury. So I think running the ball will be a priority for the 49ers. And Raheem Mostert does not need a lot of plays to get into the end zone and break something big.
Oh, yeah. There's almost no running back that has a higher chance of breaking a play loose than him.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have a lot of opportunity to do so. So this could be a guy that ends up in the end zone twice in this game because they're just running over the Lions.
Now, what percentage of the carries do you think he's going to get? Like, or do you think he's just going to make a couple big plays?
I think he'll probably have 40% of the carries.
Okay.
They did actually only keep 3 running backs. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? They had such depth
Jeff
there.
Wilson's out, but it's Mitchell, Sermon, and Mostert.
Wow.
So that speaks to the confidence in those 3 backs.
Yeah,
so.
they like the rookies and Mostert. Otherwise, everybody else they had in that team. I feel like they had 6 running backs at one point.
Yeah,
that had a chance to get snaps.
Well, they cut. Who did they recently?
Wayne Gallman.
Wayne Gallman. Jermichael Hasty was there. I have to check if Hasty is. They might have Hasty listed in like a multi-dimensional role or something. But yeah, those are their guys. So even Elijah Mitchell, if one of these guys goes down, is an interesting ad this season as well.
People might not like who you have behind Mostert though. One spot.
Saquon Barkley. We haven't talked about him yet. Look, he just practiced in full pads. I think it was yesterday. Him and Galladay. What a disaster.
I mean, Galladay actually said that this offense is going to start out slow. You know, it's bad when even the players are like, yeah, we're probably not going to be good to start the year.
So Barkley's up in the air to play in week 1. If he does play in week 1, they do have the Broncos. I like the Broncos defense this season.
Yeah, they have a good defense.
So look, it's going to be hard for you to put Saquon Barkley on your bench.
Yeah,
he's
you
still
can't
here
bench
at the
him if you
18th
drafted
spot.
him.
You're going to play him. Look, you can't expect to see,
temper expectations.
Yeah, plenty of carries and plenty of passing work.
Last year in week 1, I think Saquon was like so bad. Wasn't he like, he had like 10 carries for like 2 yards at one point against the
6
Steelers.
yards, and then he had like they tried to force feed him the ball for pass catching. So
yeah.
maybe he he's ready to go, and well, I did say yesterday, we're recording this a little while earlier. It was this last week that he was finally practicing in pads. They're practicing today. This would be his second practice in pads. So keep your eye on that because it is week 1 now. We're going to see injury reports. Who do we have next?
Chase Edmonds.
Good matchup here.
Yeah, great matchup. This is going to be a game that I think is going to see a lot of passing, which is great for Chase Edmonds, not really great for James Conner.
Yeah.
He might be on the field a lot. They throw him quite a few balls, and Tennessee defense not great. So we could easily see him catch maybe 6 or 7 passes.
Yeah, Connor struggled in preseason. So Chase Edmonds, I've never really, I don't have him in many leagues. I think I'm having one of my 5 leagues that I'm in. Actually, I haven't drafted 2 of my leagues yet, but yeah, he's a good flex play. I think he's going to have lots of opportunity too. So I like Edmonds. At 20, David Montgomery.
Tough matchup.
The Bears are going to be very one-dimensional in this game against the Rams.
Especially if Andy Dalton plays.
Dalton is pretty much locked and loaded to start.
It could be ugly.
Look, he does have the backfield to himself. So I think he's someone you have to play if you've drafted him. But again, this is a tough matchup. We know Aaron Donald's out there. So temper expectations when it comes to
Montgomery. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being the lowest scoring game of the week, just because like the Rams defense versus this Bears offense. Allen Robinson's going to be matched up against Jalen Ramsey. This like Aaron Donald's going to stuff up David Montgomery. Like what else do they have?
Yeah.
They're going to score so few points, and the Bears defense will likely handle the Rams a little bit, but I could see like a 13-6 Rams win.
These are 2 teams that'll like time of possession is very important to them.
Yeah.
Sean McVay and Matt Nagy. Okay. Miles Sanders, 21. Look, I am very worried about Miles Sanders this season, but this is the Falcons. I still think he'll be the number 1 back on first and second down. I think Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell are definitely going to be involved. But
he doesn't have the workhorse role anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why he's all the way. That's why he's here at 21.
Yeah.
If this is a middle of the pack matchup or a top 10 matchup, like Miles Sanders is probably going to he might end up off this list a good amount of this season for us in top 24.
Yeah, I could see it too. As long as he doesn't like take over the workhorse role. If it's a committee, then he's going to be so matchup reliant for these matchups all the way through the year.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of bad matchups, Josh Jacobs.
Tough matchup against the Ravens. They're probably going to be losing. And they clearly don't like to use Josh Jacobs in the passing game. They haven't really done it very much.
Yep.
So we could easily see him get phased out of the game fairly early.
Yeah.
And they just only throw the ball the rest of the way.
Kenyon Drake's involvement, I don't think it'll be like significant impact to Jacobs. These are 2 teams that'll both run the ball, so there's not going to be a lot of plays in this game too, I think. And again, like you said, they could go away from the run early on if they're behind. So
the Ravens are a team that just gets out to a lead so early and they just hold on to it.
Yeah. That's what they do. We mentioned that earlier, but we haven't seen too much, or I haven't. That was on a different show actually. There's the passing work from Lamar. We haven't seen them play from behind too much. When they do, the Ravens aren't really that successful. But I think they'll be ahead in this game. Damian Harris
creeps in.
He's flying up our draft board for sure. Damian Harris has the Dolphins in this game. I don't expect to see. There was a practice. They had 2 joint practices against the Giants, and Mac Jones had like 40 passing attempts in the joint practice. I don't foresee that in this game. I think he'll be a little bit sheltered. I think you'll see a healthy dose of Damian Harris. This is going to be a run-first offense, and now Damian Harris is going to be the goal line guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've got sort of a dilemma in our redraft league. I have to start 2 of Gus Edwards, Damian Harris, and Darrell Henderson. And even though I drafted Darrell Henderson the highest, like I'm thinking he's the guy I have to bench here.
Yeah.
And you have him just 1 spot after Damian Harris, and I think I agree with you that Damian Harris at this point is a better start than Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, so Darrell Henderson is at 24 against the Bears. The Bears' biggest strength by far is their rushing defense. I think I mentioned this a little while ago, but the way that the Bears will probably be beaten this game, as much as we talked about running the football, it's probably going to be by the pass. That's where they are suspect right now, losing Kyle Fuller. John Johnson is their top corner option as well. So they haven't been I think a lot of people think of the Bears as this fantastic defense. They've been great for a number of years, but their passing defense is nowhere close to what their rushing defense is.
The rushing defense.
So this is a tough matchup for Darrell Henderson. And again, we haven't really seen the dynamic of Sony and Henderson. So I want to see what that looks like too, because if these guys are up if they're up early and up all game, I could see this being a healthy mix of both, and they just kind of eat into each other's finishes.
Yeah, I don't really see that much upside with Henderson in this matchup either. Like I think everybody you have ahead of him, I would keep ahead of him.
Yeah. So some key guys we left off the list. Mike Davis was just out. Trey Sermon, I'm excited about, but again, I think he could be someone that really ascends, but we're looking for the most likely outcome in week one. Myles Gaskin, a running back that's out as well.
DeAndre
Swift is out. I'm worried about the injury. If he is playing, look, I wouldn't start DeAndre Swift in week one, even if he plays.
I wouldn't say that yet. It probably depends on what his practicing looks like next week.
Yeah.
If he's back to full practice next week, I'm starting him.
This week.
Yeah, this week.
We'll talk about more in our start-sit later this week, but I do think that for Swift, even if he plays, this is a really tough matchup. Jamal Williams has proven to be a good pass catcher as well, so they might want to just take things easy on him in week one and maybe limit his snap count. So I feel like he can't really start DeAndre Swift, but again, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on the video. Comment what you think of the rankings. Are we missing somebody? You want to see somebody higher? Happy to chat about it. And then as well, check out our week one Superflex salary cap game. It is week one.
Yes.
We're giving you a $10 free entry. Use promo code Drew9. You're going to get in for free. We also give you $5 when you sign up and verify your account.
Join some other contests.
So we've got $1 contests. So you can throw 5 entries into there. You can win up to $15K in our $100K prize pool week one contest. That is the grand prize. Again, promo code Drew9. Show us your lineups. Send us your lineups on Twitter. All of our socials and everything are down below. And we will see you next time.